Ooh, this is good because I was looking for a way for me to get involved at Faith. I came to Faith because I had kids through the preschool and we stayed for the school. And so because of that, we became members of the church. And I grew up where the male figure in your house was who was involved in church. And so I didn't really know where that meant for me as a mom and, just mid 30s and female. Like, I just didn't know what that meant in terms of serving in a church capacity and what I had to give or what I had to offer. And so when I was asked to be part of the council, I kind of looked at it as like, okay, this is the prompt. I'm supposed to do something with this. I still don't know what value I'll offer or what I can add to this, but I'll say yes to that. And it was interesting because I remember sitting in the, what do we call it, the congregation meeting, right? And it was this call for we're going to start building a church. And it was like so clear that it was like, how sometimes you're like, God, just give me the real clear, like that this green light, that this is what you want me to do. And it was like, you couldn't have been more obvious that, okay, that you're supposed to do this building committee. Because I have a background in building things for like 16 years, 17 years now, and work with architects, and I work in that field as my full-time job, and the way that I'm able to bring that in now to serve in that capacity, that's just a natural fit for me, that there's really no better place for me to use what my skills are than to bring that into church. And so it's been a really fun way to see how that's like been so clear and obvious of my unique skill set and how that can be used today. No, I think that the important part of how are you equipped to show up in that place is recognizing that we all have our own unique gifts and strengths. And often those gifts and strengths may not feel like they're gifts and strengths because they come so natural to you or they're a daily part of what you do, that it doesn't feel like it's unique enough to have value. And so when you find something that's glaring that you're like, this is just everyday real life for me, and there's a need here and it marries so well together, it's that green light, like, yep, this is time for you to serve there. So the things you tell yourself are this: I don't have the time, I can't commit to one more thing, I'm like, I might be equipped for this, but I don't know if I can commit to that. And so selfishly, I'm going to want to say no, and maybe somebody else will step into that so I cannot. And it was funny because the way that it feels like at least for me, a very tangible way is like your heart starts beating and you start this heaviness on your shoulders that you're like, no, I'm supposed to. And as soon as you will say, okay, I will, all of that leaves, because you know that like that's when that conviction, that space of like what I think I want to do versus what I'm called to do, and a different, and stepping into that and being willing to just say, I might not have much time, but I also know that we can be faithful with what you've asked us to do, and that interestingly enough, you always have the time and you don't have to sacrifice. And so it's always just something fun to remind ourselves. So what's interesting is, we had to put together this building committee, this facilities committee, of what that means to show up in that capacity. And several people are like, I don't know anything about the process of building anything. I don't know the terminology or the lingo, or I don't even know how you're going to, what needs or what I can bring to this, but I'm willing because I was asked, and I was praying for how I could get involved, and this showed up as an opportunity. And the thing to note on this is that facilities is largely about knowing what you need to use your facility for. So like the architects know how to build the building. They need you to tell them what you need to use the building for. They need to know what you want to do with the space. Like, where are we going? What kinds of outreach do you want to have? Like, what kinds of community do you want to build? And it's our responsibility to gather that and convey that to them so that they can put it in the building in the right way. Like, you don't have to know anything about the building construction in order to care about what we're doing with our facility, so that you have the tools you need for whatever outreach we want to do. I think that the main messaging, and why I love that we're doing this, is just that we know that we have these facilities, we have these buildings, and we've got to take care of them. And we've had so many people that have just done it for us that we have just taken for granted almost, that we can connect you to the people to do the facility work. Like, you don't have to actually know how to do the facility maintenance work or get involved with what it looks like to build this next building. But like, even if you have a skill set that looks like project managing in order to be able to take names of people that can mow, or take and can, like, maybe you're just super gifted at Excel and you love spreadsheets, and you can figure out, like, okay, every 6 months we need to go and look at this to see if it needs any maintenance. Like, these kinds of things are important ways that you can think outside of the box, or ways that you can get involved in this that doesn't have to be specifically of, do I know how to do the work? It's more project management of, can I help care about the places that we worship in and have school in and communicate in, and all these different tools. Like, how can I help with that? And that might be a way that you haven't thought about.